I had someone that couldn't afford us. The groom, he lost his job in the wedding planning process.
Ooh.
And one of the vendors had to go. It just so happens that we were the ones that are cut. And after her wedding, she literally sent me the most heartfelt message and said, Shanee, that was the biggest mistake that we made, not having you.
Brides and grooms, welcome back to Unveiled, where we try to give you tips and tricks and inspiration all about planning your wedding. I'm OJ, your host, wedding photographer. I snap pictures and take video and that kind of stuff in Southern California for a while now. But today on the show, we have Shanee. She is a wedding coordinator, wedding planner. She's been doing it for 9 years, has a very unique approach to planning the wedding and making sure that basically she can do the best job possible without compromising things that could fall between the cracks. Anyway, without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Shanee. Shanee, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I always want to make sure that any of the stuff that we put on the show, brides and grooms can use to help their wedding planning. Wedding planners is one of my biggest, I preach this all day, because one of my biggest regrets in our wedding was that I said no to, I think maybe 2 planners that offered me for free to help.
What?
Because they were my colleagues. And I was like, I know weddings. I don't need a wedding planner. Thank you, but I got it. I didn't got it. It was horrible.
No.
I was so stressed. We hardly ate, we hardly slept. I mean, it was amazing. We had an amazing wedding experience, but oh man, I really regretted that pretty quickly. So if a couple is thinking about this, chime in. Why do they need a wedding planner? And what's your approach to wedding planning?
If a couple is thinking about a wedding planner, first and foremost, it should be a mandatory thought. It definitely should not be something that's optional. And the reason why I say that is because you don't know what you don't know, right? If most of us do things right, we're only getting married once in this lifetime, which means it's a brand new experience and all you have to go by is research. Now, research is good in one hand, but as you know, if you're like a student going to college, for example, if you need the professor to bring things home, you need the professor to make things relatable. Exactly. Yeah. You need that professor to guide you, keep you on track, and give you all of the materials you need in order to pass the test and pass the class. So essentially, you can consider us to be the professor, so to say.
You can read a book.
Exactly.
Or?
Yes. Get a wedding planner. Get a professional. Get someone who has the experience. Because one thing research does not give you is the experience.
But Shanee?
Yes.
I think my mom or my grandma, my aunt's really organized. I think she can help me.
Not so much.
Why not?
So a couple of things. First and foremost, your family members actually want to enjoy the day. No matter what they say, no matter what they're capable of, no matter how much spare time they think they have, they truly want to enjoy the day. And the last thing you want is for mom to be running to help the caterer when it's time for the first dance to take place. You don't want to take that away from those very special people on your actual wedding day. But secondly, they're emotionally attached to you, to the process. So their emotions may actually spike behind the scenes for situations that require the calm.
That's a great point. That's a very good, I never thought about that one.
Yes.
That's
so
cool.
One thing that I train my team in doing is we call ourselves the flight attendants of the actual wedding. And what that means for me is I love to travel, but I don't like turbulence. Turbulence, oh my goodness, anytime it hits me, I'm holding my cross, I'm praying secretly, it becomes a thing. But there was advice that one of my former supervisors gave me is that look back at the flight attendants and see what the flight attendants' reactions are. And if they're still taking drink orders, they look to be perfectly calm, then you're fine. So essentially, I tell my team, we are the flight attendants of the day. So no matter how big the fire is, what's happening behind the scenes, we need to be the calm. If you have mom involved, she's angry with you. If you have grandma involved, she's right up in that person's face. That's not what you need on the wedding day. You don't need someone to match a situation with that same energy. You truly need someone that can bring it down, bring it back, and keep in mind what the goal is for the couple. And that's what people don't realize for wedding days.
That's a good answer. I've been doing this for so long. No one ever put it that way. That's a fist bump right there.
Yes.
I never thought of it because so much of wedding day is emotion.
Yes.
And it's just turned up to whatever degree.
Exactly.
And, I would say that in the 20 years I've been doing photography and video, I don't think I've run into very many, if at all, bridezillas. But the closest thing to a zilla that I might have run into would be momzillas.
Yes.
Or, maybe momzillas. Because they want to be protective. But also, one of the quickest ways of tension could be, Mom, I got this, or Mom, stop. Because you're both stressed trying to figure things out.
Exactly.
So to have a disinterested party,
yes,
in legal terms, right?
Yes.
That is not going to get emotional.
Yes.
That's a huge thing, more than everything else, actually, now that I think about it.
Absolutely.
Because that can help set your emotional tone.
Exactly.
I always say a wedding planner worth their weight will put away fires that you never would have even known existed.
Yes.
And I've seen it in action.
Absolutely.
So, okay. But Shanee, we simply can't afford this.
That's a tough one. And I understand that weddings are expensive. That's one thing that I get wholeheartedly. The economy has changed, life has changed. And when you throw that word wedding on there, that's usually when things just slowly but surely start to creep up. For a venue, for example, sometimes it's like, hey, I want to do a baby shower. It's one price. But then when you say it's a wedding, it becomes a whole different thing. So I get that it's expensive, but my only thought behind the scenes, it's what's more expensive. Is it your peace of mind on the wedding day? Or is it actually figuring out a way to budget in someone that can give you exactly what you deserve? And that's what I feel like people don't factor in. They don't think about the tasks that are behind the scenes, the extra stress that they're adding on themselves by doing everything themselves. The fact that if you don't have a wedding planner, you as the bride and the groom, you become the day of contact. So when someone's running late, they're calling bride and groom. When someone doesn't know where to go, they're calling bride and groom. When someone says, hey, this cake, is there a refrigerator space and the caterer is all full, they're contacting the bride and groom. Is that the stuff you actually want to be worried about on your wedding day? Or do you truly want to enjoy what's about to take place?
And it also cascades to the rest of the vendors being able to do their job.
Yes.
So I was talking to a makeup artist, and I'm always very candid, polite but candid.
Yes.
And I tell her, one of the reasons that a wedding day can go late might be hair and makeup took too long. And she says, well, the truth of it is we can't do our job because typically the bride gets pulled to do things. Yes. So instead of staying seated and they could just do the makeup, the bride keeps on getting pulled by the photographer, by the this, by the that. And next thing you know, an hour should have became 2 hours because of all the stop and go process.
Yes.
And then everyone else gets affected. All the other vendors get affected in a similar way. So if we had one point of contact, or at least one team to contact that should know the answers to all the questions,
Exactly.
then it allows us to do our job better.
Yes.
Actually, I love it when there's a good coordinator on board because then I don't bug the bride for anything.
Yes.
And that makes me be more efficient. So I think another issue is when someone says, oh, we can't afford this. I think there's a lot of presumptions as to what coordination can even cost. Exactly. And they're already maybe assuming, oh, that's just going to be an extra cost that I don't even want to think about. But not realizing they should think about it. And you should consider the numbers and even just do some research on what these numbers are. Exactly. That being said, one of the biggest frustrations for couples is not knowing what these numbers are. And I love tackling this, and you are okay to talk about these numbers.
Absolutely.
So let's hit that right now.
Please.
Actually, right before we get to how much does wedding coordinating cost, I do want to share something really quick with you guys. And it's, we have a resource that if you're planning your wedding right now and you just need some help and you haven't quite gotten the wedding planner yet, this could help you. I've created a custom GPT. It's called Weddings Unveiled, and it's for free. You can download it in the description. There's a link that allow you to download it, and you can ask the kind of questions, like some of the basic questions like wedding costs, what should come first, those kind of things. And it could just help you along in the process, but it doesn't take the substitute of a human that actually knows and can handle all these things. But at least it can help you a little bit. So if you want that resource, it's down below. But that being said, wedding planners in general, how much might they expect? And what are the kind of differentiations that different wedding planners might throw out there?
Of course. So wedding planning, it's definitely going to factor in pricing, of course, based upon what level of service and package you want. Bare minimum, you're looking at an event management package where you have someone, this is for the couple that says, you know what, I think I could do most of the planning myself, but I need some guidance behind the scenes. I definitely need some expertise. And most importantly, on the day of, I need someone to take all of the heavy lifting off of me, my family, my people. So that is bare minimum what I suggest every single person get. And typically that can range anywhere from about $2,000 in cost to $5,000. We just so happen to be, I feel like, on the lower side, which is $2,500 as a starting point. However, there are couples out there that say, I don't have time due to my career. I don't want to be stressed out. I don't want to figure all this out. And they look for more hands-on planning packages. Now, this is where some planners behind the scenes get creative because a lot of my peers just so happen to do percentage-based pricing, where that can in fact go up a little bit in pricing because they're getting a percentage based off of every single vendor that's booked. I don't personally work that way because I just want to be a flat rate. I want my service to be exactly what it is. And I want you to understand exactly what you're getting for our cost and our service. So for the more full planning packages, that typically ranges anywhere from about $7,000. And I see some of my peers tagging it on all the way up to about $20,000 when you look at percentage pricing.
Yeah.
But we're not like that. Again, we like flat rates. We like you to know what you're getting when you're coming in up front. And we want you to understand the value in just our service. So whether you go book a $100,000 venue or a $10,000 venue, that doesn't matter to us. As long as you're happy with the venue, that's not going to affect our price personally. And that's what we pride ourselves on behind the scenes, is having flat rates so that there are no hidden costs, no hidden fees, and you know exactly what you're getting based on your needs.
Okay. When I heard her say flat rate, I'm like, why didn't you wear flat shoes? 5'3", 6'2". But we're sitting. So sitting is the great equalizer.
Exactly.
All right. So, I mean, 2,500. That still seems like a lot. I mean, I know it's stressful, but I think I can do it. But I mean, what do I really get out of that? I mean,
that's a great question. So with our service, I consider ourselves to be more of an inclusive service, meaning we're not like most day of coordinators where we don't pick up communication with you till 60 days before your wedding, 90 days before your wedding. We like to start with you from the time that you book our services. So we are unlimited communication around the board. I have some brides on a Saturday, they're at Michael's sending me photos. Shanee, does this work for our place? And Shanee, do you think this is too big for the entry area? I have brides that are at Costco saying, hey, what size bottle alcohol should I get? So I like to open up that communication throughout the process because a lot of it is guesswork behind the scenes. And typically something that will take my brides hours to research will literally take me seconds to answer. So I like to pick up that immediate communication and be your go-to person throughout the entire process.
that's a big deal.
Yes.
Sorry to chime in, but the whole unlimitedness, I even told her off camera, like, at some point that might be a toll on you. But I mean, she's still smiling.
Yes.
So I'd say take advantage of that because that's invaluable to have a go-to resource. Like, yes, we have our custom GPT. That's one thing, but to be able to show someone and say, I'm at Costco. What do you think of this? Will this be good for my wedding? The humans cannot replace our AI substitutes.
Exactly.
And I try to make myself a resource because when they don't have a wedding coordinator, the two substitute coordinators are the photographers at the beginning. Yep. And then come reception time, the DJ becomes the coordinator or the tag team with that. Or they're going, hey, you don't know what's happening? No, I don't know what's happening either. But she never told you what was happening? Well, yeah, I don't. Well, we should probably do this. Yeah, I agree. Yes. You don't want that on your wedding day. And that I've had that happen a number of times. But I love it when I can just go, what's it says here? Okay, good. Oh, can we adapt? Oh, sweet, we can, because this took longer than that, and now we need more time for this, and then someone can shift all that stuff instead of me going to, okay, Bride, I know you're trying to enjoy it, you're trying to talk to all these people, but I need you to make a decision on this that's going to impact the rest of the night. Yes. That sucks.
Yes.
Okay, so is it worth it for me? $2,500, like that's the cost of a photographer maybe. And that just seems like it's so hard to pull out. Do I need this?
Absolutely. You need it every single time because, as I mentioned, with our base package, it's not just that unlimited communication. We want to meet you on site ahead of time so that we can walk the space together. We want to drop a diagram of exactly how things are going to go and essentially make sure we're giving your guests the best overall experience for the space provided. But not only that, we want to contact every single one of your vendors so that we can put the pieces of our puzzle together. The last thing we want on your wedding day is for your vendors to just be arriving and no one have any rhythm of a rhyme to what's happening. Just say the florist is supposed to be placing florals on the actual cake itself. We need to make sure that the cake is arriving before the florist leaves. So are we connecting these proper dots behind the scenes? There's also so many questions that come from the vendors that then get placed on the couple when you don't have a planner. For example, the DJ, they want to know if they're setting up indoor, outdoor. They want to know if they're in a shaded area, if it is outdoor, so their equipment doesn't overheat. If the venue provides a table for their setup, if they need to bring their own, they want to know how far they are away from the electrical outlet. So all of these logistics then get dumped onto the couple.
Oh my gosh.
You figure it out.
I'm stressed out just hearing you talk about this. I'm like, I'm done with this wedding.
Yes.
Can I just be done with being married?
Yes.
I'm not actually getting married. We're role playing here, but my heart rate was increasing as you were saying all these things. There's so much, there's too much.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what people don't realize because it's your first time going through this. So when all of these questions, yes, when all these questions are being thrown at you from all these different directions and caterers saying, well, how far is the parking space from where I need to go? And do I have access to the kitchen? And do I have access to the ovens? And is there a service team on site? Do we need to provide one? Then the couple is having to figure out all of these things that they never thought about, they don't know about. Some things are actually needed and warranted. Other things, this is where the planner pulls things out of their back pocket to say, wait. Don't you hire that person because I can take care of it. And an example is, I think about this one couple, they hired a decorator before they hired us. They were like, yeah, Shanee, we have someone that's going to come in. She's going to do all the decorating. She doesn't do the cleanup. So we're going to hire a different cleanup crew. I'm like, wait. What are you doing all of this for? That's exactly what our team takes care of. Because we work up to 12-hour days on the wedding day, we like to be there from start to finish. So we handle all of the setup. We're meeting the vendors so that we can show them around the space, where to park, where their area is going to be. We stay all the way until the very end so that as my couples are actually doing their grand exits, they're giving those final hugs, having those lasting conversations. We're the ones packing up all the boxes, putting all the boxes into the vehicle, making sure the gifts are where they need to be, making sure the suites are cleaned inside, and making sure everyone is leaving the premises before the allotted time that the venue allows. Because if not, guess what? Now it's mom sitting here after a long day having to go through this. Now it's dad having to lug all of these boxes. Now it's the maid of honor saying, wait a minute, so where's this bouquet and where is that? It becomes chaotic when you have too many cooks in the kitchen. That's what it all comes down to. And even when people say, Shanee, can I offer assistance and we'll send someone to help? Please don't. And do yourself the favor. Not only, as I mentioned, do these people want to enjoy, but we have a very strategic process that we follow. We're working off of checklists to make sure we don't miss a single thing behind the scenes. So it works for us. But the thing is, I just need my couples to know, like, this is it's so valuable. It's one of those things that you don't realize you need it, honestly, until after you look back. I had someone that couldn't afford us. This is what it was. The groom, he lost his job in the wedding planning process. Ooh. And one of the vendors had to go. It just so happens that we were the ones that are cut. And after her wedding, she literally sent me the most heartfelt message and said, Shanee, that was the biggest mistake that we made, not having you. She said, we had to do everything. And then it rained on our wedding day. And we didn't even think to look up the weather before the wedding day. So then everything is soaked in the grass. And we didn't think to have a tent delivered ahead of time. And she was like, and then all of the questions, Shanee, she said, I was so bombarded. It was a home wedding also. She said we had people inside of the house that we didn't want. Because we had a plan. We're like, nope, we're going to lock the doors and we keep the keys. So only those must-have people can go in. She had none of that. And it was the most heartfelt message. I felt so bad in the end, but it truly did prove why the process works and why we work.
It's one of those, like, it must have felt good, but it must have felt horrible.
Exactly.
At the same time.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had a similar thing with on the video side because people don't often think video as a necessity.
Yes.
And we were shooting, I think it was a quince. And in the middle of either the dancing or the speeches, the dad goes to me like, we should have gotten video. Because he saw the uncle just holding a video camera,
Yes.
and he saw the moments going.
Yes.
And he's like, we should have gotten video. I'm like,
Yes.
and I couldn't do anything at that point anymore.
No.
We just didn't have the gear to start putting up, and it'd be tough to like come up with a contract and invoicing and all that kind of stuff on the spot. But it's these are the things that people regret, and it sucks to hear that. Too much stress. It's a huge production. You just took me through an emotional roller coaster right now. First, I was super stressed. And then with those little tidbits, you made me so exhausted because I can imagine all that stuff that you have to do at the end of a wedding. Here's a little testimony, though, on your behalf. I was speaking with Shanee at the end of a wedding that we shot together, or that we did together. And she was just as cheerful and so pleasant even at the end. And that's surprising.
Yes.
Because there are times sometimes when the vendors, towards the end of the night, the curtains will open and it's like, well, I hate this job.
Yes.
But you kept your composure. You were just as pleasant. You were just as energetic. And I'm like, aren't you tired? Because I get tired. And especially when we do back-to-back weddings and like we're dead the next day.
Exactly.
But I have to judge. This is a people job. This is not photography.
Right.
This is not coordinating. This is a people job.
Absolutely.
And she was still the people at the end. And not all vendors are like that.
Yes.
And it makes a whole lot of difference. And some coordinators, they're only nice to the couple. And they're mean to everyone else.
Work is awful.
Why?
It's so awful because I have a team of about 25 of us and we have annual team trainings. And in the team trainings, one thing that I always tell my team is that although the couple hired us directly, we are technically working for everyone here. So we are working for the venue because we need to make sure the venue looks as best as it possibly can, is held in the most high regard. We are the project manager of all the vendors because essentially, let's just say the DJ is late and isn't starting music on time. I don't want you to fail. If one vendor fails, I feel like it was my personal responsibility. That's just the weight that I carry as a coordinator, as a planner, because I want to take on that weight and I want to ensure that everyone is doing exactly what it is that they are expecting, my couple's expecting. So I want to be the person to take it all on. And not only that, because we get so many referrals from the guests there, the guests are our people also. I need to make sure that all of these guests are well taken care of, especially my VIPs, like the moms, the grandmas, those people of the world. We're walking around checking to see if they need another drink. Are they being served first? We're making sure their buffet tables are released to the buffet line first. So essentially, we're not just working for the couple. And that's one thing that some people do get twisted behind the scenes. We are building partnerships, we're building relationships, and we're making sure every single vendor looks good. And let me give an example of a wedding I worked back in 2018. We're at the venue. It was out in San Clemente, and we're working the wedding. We're getting things set up. And the videographer actually just so happened to run out of gas on the way to the wedding. It sounds so unbelievable, but it happened. So they call me, Shanee, I ran out of gas. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, is there like AAA or a gas station or someone you can... They're like, no, I actually need the payment from the wedding in order to get gas. And I was like, yes, it absolutely happened. I was like, oh, okay, where are you located? Just so happens they were 20 minutes out from the venue. At the time, I had one of my assistants working with me. I was like, you know what? I need you to stop. I need you to go where they are. I need you to make sure they get this payment, help them get to a gas can. I need them to get here so that they can still get here on time. Because if they're not here on time, we're thrown behind. To this day, that bride still has no idea that that happened.
That's great.
They were so thankful and so grateful that we came and we saved the day, but my bride still doesn't know. And that's the kind of fires that we put out behind the scenes. Because had it been mom, she's emotional. She's upset. She is wondering why you aren't here doing what you need to do. Me, I just need to put it out before anyone realizes that it's even happening. And that's how we work our magic behind the scenes. And that's what helps me actually sleep really good at night. I'm like, whew, okay, mission aborted. We're good. Let's keep going.
God, I'm not even gonna ask her about her therapy bills. So yeah, you don't want the therapy bill, right? She's a glutton for punishment. Just give it to Shanee. Weddings are crazy.
Yes.
Take it from us. We see it all the time.
Yes.
And there's way more things happening than you can expect. And like she said, this should be your first and your last. And if it's your first, you don't know anything. You don't know what you don't know. There's so much stuff going on. So I hope you picked up some stuff from today. I hope you learned a few things about the kind of fires that happen and why you just flat out. I don't make any extra money from this. Okay, I'm not sponsored, but I say it to you because it just makes your life so much more smooth and better, and you can enjoy your wedding day, you and your family. Okay, so again, thank you for staying this long into the episode. Again, I hope you learned stuff. If you have any questions about working with a planner, throw it down below and we'll try to make an episode out of it, or I'll just reply to you. We'll see. If it's a fast reply, we'll just reply. Anyway, let us know other episodes that you'd like, other wedding mysteries that you'd like us to solve for you. And again, if you need just a little bit of kick, extra help, extra guidance, we have that free GPT Weddings Unveiled that's available in the description. It's for free. It can help you and then hopefully lead you to realizing how much there is and that an app can do it all for you, although it could get you started. But then that you'll need someone, especially if you're working in Southern California and probably beyond, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Southern California and beyond. All of Shanee's information, of course, is going to be in the description below. So look for that there. And do all the stuff that you're supposed to do with YouTube and social medias. You know, press the buttons, click the bells, all that kind of stuff. Until next time, we'll see you.